Marijuana's not being tested for right now.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a big win. Huh?
Yeah.
Hey, there's a big win for the players.
Are they not testing, like they're not going to test anymore, or just not going to be suspended? What is it?
So the annual street drug test happens in a window that started on 420, which is hysterical.
Awesome.
And it ended after the first week of training camp. So if you got tested anywhere in there between 420 and the end of the first week of training camp, you were done for the year. So everybody knew, like, okay, by the time 420 comes around, got to be clean. Like, have to be clean. If you're not clean, you're an idiot. We knew this was happening, okay? So that's kind of what marijuana became. They're still testing for levels of alcohol, methamphetamines, I think opioids and everything like that. It's a street drug test or whatever. So I think they are still testing for that. They will not test for marijuana until training camp starts, until the end of the first preseason game or something like that. So they have changed the window on marijuana specifically, made it much tighter. So now the, hey, I need to be clean by 420 date, which shout out to the NFL allowing guys to be able to now, you know, participate in our holiday, you know, for a long time. It was kind of it was like they were dancing on our grave almost. Like, oh, you like it? Oh, you like it? We'll start testing on fucking 420.
Gotcha.
But boy, if you got tested on 420, what a day. What a fucking day. I would never, ever forget that feeling of me sitting around, you know. OTA is normally pretty boring for me, punting the ball. And then all of a sudden our head athletic trainer would walk out and he goes, annual drug test day or whatever. And everybody would be like, okay, here we go. He would go through the alphabetical order, you know. And he'd hear Mathis, and then almost like, come on, come on, come on, come on. McAfee, yes! Fucking right, dude! Fucking right! And then other teammates that I potentially, you know, partook with, they wouldn't get picked until training camp. So all summer, all summer. It's just luck of the draw too. It's like, yeah, how is your summer going to go?
Lottery.
How is it's just 100% a lottery, and you got to hope that your name is called by the time OTA is finished. Because if not, they can get you randomly in the middle of the summer. They'll definitely be getting you in training camp and all this shit. It's a tough game. Now they're just like, we understand that you guys had those moments where you're like, damn it, why can't I? Now we're just shortening it down. Okay, everybody's going to be the same. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. So now your friends can't smoke without you for like 3-4 months straight, right in your face, basically. Okay, we appreciate that. That's a good deal. I'm happy the NFL and the NFL did that. Is that the last CBA, you think, or did that happen recently?
I think that just happened over the last CBA, like when they did everything before COVID or right when COVID hit, right?
That's awesome. I'm a big fan of that move.
So how long?
Maybe I go back and play.
Let's say the window starts August 1st. When would you have to stop?
Depends on your body fat. So, because it's stored in your fat cells, how much you smoke, how long you've been smoking. There's a lot of factors that go into it. For me, my quickest turnaround time is 8 days. I was a part of a rather large, like 10 to 15 blunt session the night before I got arrested.
Okay. Really?
Okay, so that was bye week, and there was a celebration happening, and I was invited to that. And I didn't smoke those right to my head, obviously. These were being shared amongst friends. Then I get the alleged incident, definitely publicly intoxicated, go into the thing. I get told, like, hey, you're going to enter into stage 1 of the substance of abuse program. You're going to get tested when you get back from your suspension or whatever. So it might have been 10 days or whatever then. And I jump roped for 10 straight days, lost 14 pounds. Lost 14 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, because I couldn't go into the facility. I had no friends. I couldn't really do anything. My phone was broke from water damage. I mean, I couldn't go out in public. So I just jump roped like 4 times a day. And I was like, I'm not going to fail a test. I'm not going to fail a test. Because if I fail a test, then I got to be in for 27 months. And there's no way in hell I can do that. I don't fail a test. I go in 3 months, stage 1. Then I'm told on the last day, as I'm driving home to celebrate getting through stage 1 and graduating through back to Pittsburgh, I get a phone call in the middle of Ohio, okay, on the side of 70, Dr. Brown, I believe is his name. He says, congratulations, you've been moved into phase 2 or stage 2 of the substance abuse program. It's the same as stage 1, just 24 months long. And I was like, this motherfucker.
Jesus.
I needed it though at that time. Because back in Pittsburgh that weekend, I potentially get in the same exact situation.
Yeah. Get in a little trouble.
That got me in there. But I lost it in 10 days, but I got very thin. I mean, I've shown a picture of me at that. I didn't eat, I just did everything. I was going to go play soccer after that.
Did you go to like GNC and get those drinks or whatever?
No, because they started testing for that too.
Oh, they did, really?
Yeah, they started testing for like the things that cover it or whatever. You know,
You can't be. I know guys have had to go back because it's too dilute. Like if you're too overhydrated, you do have to come back.
And by the way, veteran in the game, if you get tested on that annual thing and they send it in, you'll get a heads up like the next day if it was too diluted. So like there's been times where guys have given the test and the test administrator has said it's okay, send it in. Oh, we need another one the next day. Guy has already celebrated.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa. So by the way, listen, it's been about 17 days. I give myself 20 days, almost maybe 3 weeks, depending on how fat Pat was at the time. You know, fatter me, got to start a little bit earlier, a little bit more in shape me, doesn't need as much time. I can extend it another 2 to 3 days for them to tell me my test is good. So that's what I would do at the end of this thing. But boy, it was, I'm happy they kind of cleared that whole thing up. No, I don't think guys will fail anymore, thank God.
I mean, they shouldn't. And even if they do fail, I know you're not. I don't know if you're put in the program right away, but either way, you got to fail 3 tests, don't you, to get suspended any games?
I don't think there's any more game suspensions ever.
Oh, you're right. I think it's just you go into the program.
Yeah, and your life's over.
So you're still in the program. You still get tested, right? But you're just not suspended.
Everybody's like, oh, it's a big, you know, that's really cool. They don't get to miss any games. Like, yeah, still in the program, still going to get tested 8 times a month. Still have to call somebody whenever you're leaving the state and give them an address you're going to.
But what if you test positive when you're in the program and you're saying you're not suspending them? Does it? If you test positive in the program, then do you get suspended?
I would assume it's a fine. I don't think it's a suspension. I think it's just a monetary thing.
Some guy's just going to eat that fine. Some people won't care.
People never get out of the program, ever.
Yeah.
It's like set up for you never to get out of the program. So it's very, very, very difficult.
Excuse me. So sorry to interrupt. Hey! Did you know at the age of 30, your testosterone levels start dropping 1% per year? Wow! That means you're gonna get fatter, more tired, and lose the strength that you once had. But no worries, our friends at Roman have the perfect product for you. So you can get back to banging weights, banging humans, and living your best life. $15 off right now. Get Roman.com/USA. Back to the action. Hey!
I mean, I got tested in the middle of Georgia when I was Bigfoot hunting at 4:30 a.m. in the middle of the hills of Georgia. I got tested in Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, New Orleans. I've been tested everywhere. They tracked me 8 times a month, 27 months straight. It was just like, yeah, I had no chance at all.
Well, Jay Nikowski was the one that gave you the
cruise.
the
Go on a
solution.
cruise. What they do? Land on boat? Fucking great call. So I started being a cruise guy that next off season. But then the lockout hit. And it was perfect because it stopped everything. And then you were given a reprieve basically until you got clean again after the lockout happened. Then they restarted the counter from then for however long. So it was like, that's why I said, I don't know how long this thing's going to be, but I'm going to go on a run here. And it ended up being like 100-some days. My body was ready for that lockout to end. I mean, I was going hard. I didn't want to do anything for the rest of the program time. But guys never get out, ever.
Well, that's bullshit how they do it, too, how they, like, dangle that carrot in front of you, like, hey, it's 3 months, you get through this, and then you get through that thinking, like, okay, we're good to go. And they're like, oh, by the way, you got another 2 years in this. So.
Yeah, and then, by the way, when you're in there, there's a chance that you could potentially, just fuck up one time, maybe, and, oh, yeah, we're adding another 6 or 7 months onto it, or another 12 months onto it.
Wild.
God. But, by the way, you get to be in the NFL. You don't have to be in the NFL.
Right. Privilege.
Right? So, like, I had to get to that point, too. It's like, I get to be here. I don't have to be here, all right? I could be a fucking bum out there, I guess. But this does stink. I mean, this absolutely stinks. So, I want cold turkey. Nothing for, like, 25 months. Tried Spice there for a couple of months.
I was going to say, didn't you have a few encounters with Spice during the first month or two?
Yeah, that was before we knew there were zombies, please.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that was before we knew.
What did it do to you? I've always wondered. Like, I've actually seen guys freak out, and I've heard stories from different security guys around the league that have been called to, like, hotels when guys have lost their mind. Like, what does it do?
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I handle it's going to sound bad. I feel like I handle drugs, hallucinogens, things pretty okay. Like, I feel like my body and brain at this point have done okay.
It's a safe bet. I think people wouldn't be shocked to hear that.
Yeah, okay. So I handle it pretty good. So It was just like it was a similar to a marijuana high, but then when it ended, which was much quicker, there was this massive headache. It was like, oh my God, it was like you felt as if you just smoked a chemical, right?
Yeah.
So it was like I just smoked something that I have no idea what it is. And I've told this story before. I go back to West Virginia for some event or like maybe my friend's birthday or whatever. I was sleeping on a couch in West Virginia, and you know, a lot of smoking going on with a lot of guys that I was in West Virginia. So I go back there and I pull out my own blunt that I rolled with spice while they were smoking their own thing. And like two of the guys in the room looked at me and they were like, "This is the NFL, huh? Smoking meth in a blunt? Is that what you're doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I should not." And that was like, it is, isn't it? Yeah, somebody made that. Yeah, there's chemicals. Probably stinks. I was like, I get a massive headache every day. Oh, yeah, you're smoking meth.
You're say.
Oh, it's meth. Yeah, here in West Virginia, we know it. It's like, yeah, you're right. So I stopped that. But for like 25 months, I was just 100% sober, me and my thoughts. It was...
It's pretty... Isn't it amazing what your mind is capable of doing, Pat? You lost 19 pounds jumping rope in 6 days because you didn't want to fail a test, and then you stayed sober for 25 months.
Yeah, I'm pretty stubborn, I think. You know, it was pretty... I think we've all learned that at this point. But that was a big fuck you to the doctor, you know, that put me in there because I think he wanted to ruin my life forever. You know, I like that's what it feels like that's what that program is. It's like, it is just like monotonous. It's like, hey, we are going to make this a living hell for you almost, you know? And it's like, I get it. Okay, I made a massive mistake. I embarrassed my family. I embarrassed my team. I embarrassed everybody. By the way, just lost all of my friends, by the way, because everybody that I was friends with party, like that's what we did. Like I had no idea that there was fun things to do while you're not incredibly fucked up. So it was like I lost all my friends, and then it's like, okay, now you got to meet with a counselor once a week. By the way, if you miss that, there's additional penalties on the back end of it. It's like, oh, so my entire life just completely changed. But I want to get out. It helped me though. Like I think grand scheme looking back was very good, but there's a way that they could adjust that, I think, to make it a little bit better for everybody.